Let's see. Since you are brand new, day one, right? Archery.
Right, day one.
Day one archery, you got your new bow, you got a great Matthews bow. I'm going to make a little vlog because we're going to go through a lot of basics, right? That anybody that wants to take up archery should try to learn. And so the number one thing, okay, remember this one thing, the most important thing about the skill of archery is one word, and that word's consistency. You want to be consistent every time you draw your bow as best you can. Because what happens if your arm's bent a little bit this way or cocked this way?
Oh, yeah.
It's different, right?
Yep.
So everything about the process, right, needs to be exactly the same as best as you can do it, right? And it's going to be, if you get in a hunting situation, right, that's going to make it a lot more complicated. You're going to be wearing a big coat, it's going to be cold.
Oh, yeah.
The deer is not going to just pose for you, right? You know, they're going to be animated, obviously. All of that stuff's going to make that much more difficult than what we're going to be doing, and that's just target practice.
Right.
But if you start to practice right and practice that consistency so that every time you draw, your arm is in the same place, both your arms are the same, your eyeball is at the same spot, the anchor point where you hold the string is at the same spot. All of that's got to be the same. So mostly when you're practicing, that's what I want you to be thinking about, is all of those factors and get used to the feel of where they all are. And the more you do it, repetition, 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 it'll be instant. You will know as soon as you draw, everything's where it should be. And so that's kind of the first lesson on this. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about how you draw your bow. So if you see somebody, of course you know you never release a bow without an arrow, right? You know, you can damage the bow. But if you see somebody and they're doing that, right, that's a good sign that they're drawing a bow way too heavy for their muscles, right? So, you know, when you draw, you want to point your shooting hand right at your target and then just draw straight back, right?
Yep.
So that does a couple things. It gets you in position, right? That consistency. It gets your body where you want it to be. And it also reduces a lot of movement that deer is going to see, right, once we start hunting.
Okay. Yep.
Arm goes to your target, kind of get that natural place where you know your arm needs to be, draw straight back. So that's really pretty simple. Now, what I want you to do is you're going to hold your bow with your left hand. You're right-handed, right? Okay. So take your hand. Don't stand facing, but stand at about a 45 degree to the target, and then take your hand and just like you want to just tell the target to stop, like that, right? Okay. Now I want you to look at your thumb and your forefinger. See how it kind of forms a 45?
Yeah.
That's how you want to hold your bow. Okay. So when you're holding your bow, that's how your hand's going to be. Your arm's going to be like slightly bent, okay? So you got a little cushion right there. You don't want to lock your arm. You start locking that arm and you start stepping over here, what's going to happen with that string when you release it? It's going to hit your arm, right? So you want to kind of open yourself to the target, and you want that. You see how my arm is? You want that arm to be slightly bent. Okay. Now this hand, you're going to be drawing straight back, right? And then you're going to want to get to a point, and it's going to be slightly different for everybody, but I like the corner of my mouth to be my anchor point, right? That way, and remember, your head's up, right? You're erect. You're not doing this.
Right.
And you're not doing, this.
Yeah.
Right? So you want a good posture, and then you want that anchor point to be consistent. And I think it's going to be slightly different, maybe for you than me. But for me, right where my fletching hits my knot, my arrow lays right in there at the corner of my mouth. And it's that same place every time, right?
Right.
Same place every time. So we're going to practice just doing some drawing now. Just drawing your bow, getting a good anchor point, and then release. Okay, pushing against the trigger, and you point your left hand at your target. Don't grip that bow. Don't grip the bow. Yeah, there you go. Left hand at the target, draw straight back, nice and smooth. All right, now get a good point on your... Okay, one thing you're doing is you're locking that left arm. Okay. I want you to look at my left arm, okay?
Okay.
Now you're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. See mine?
Mm-hmm. So you like started off like...
I started off straight, but
Yeah.
you see where I'm at?
Yeah.
You see how thin it is?
Mm-hmm.
And see, that gets me right back here nice and tight on
Okay.
my face.
Mm-hmm.
If I straighten my arm out, it'd be way out here, right?
Uh-huh.
But see how I might draw with it straight, but then watch, I'd bring it right here to my nose. You feel my nose right there? You see that? It's right on that string.
Yep. Okay.
So I have to bring the bow to my nose. Yeah, that's a little better.